Hi everyone! Today I'm returning to Joni Mitchell and her music, this time with Refuge of the Roads from 1976. As many of you know, I've listened to quite a bit of her music by now, including a complete album listen to Blue, which I deeply appreciated. And you also know that I have really begun to develop quite an affection for her music, so I am eager to explore this song today and listen to it for the first time with you. It's an interesting sound. It's muted. It sounds kind of like the guitar is being muted with fingers or felt or something.
I met a friend of spirit.
Ooh.
He drank and womanized, and I sat before his sanity.
Somehow
I was holding back from crying. He saw my complication.
This puts me in the mood of, I don't know, New Orleans or Alabama or...
And we laughed how our perfection
I'm
would
not sure why.
always be denied. Heart and humor and humility, he said, will lighten up your heavy load.
This is down south.
For the refuge of the roads.
I know, somehow, it's so vivid, the image it's painting in my mind. It's like, somehow I feel like I'm stepping back in time a little bit. The southern part of the United States, as I said, New Orleans or I don't know, Alabama, somewhere down south where we're moving towards swampy areas, Spanish moss, big trees, and maybe even moving towards I don't know, I feel like I'm moving further south, almost like the music is taking me on a trip down further and further south, almost like, no, it's funny. I'm almost, I keep saying almost. I'm trying to figure out how to express this to you. I don't quite see palm trees. I don't quite. I almost see sandy beaches, but not quite. It's more the Spanish moss. The swampy, humid southern United States atmosphere.
For the refuge of the roads.
There's a sort of mystery about it. I like that little melody in there.
I fell in with some drifters, cast upon a beach town. Winn-Dixie cold cuts and highway hand-me-downs.
Oh wow.
And I wound up fixing dinner for them in Boston Gin. I well up with affection, thinking back down the roads to then. The nets were overflowing in the Gulf of Mexico.
Wait, hold on. Okay. So, this is incredible. No, she just sang the Gulf of Mexico. And we just were cast upon a beach town. Okay, so this is, oh wow. The music is so well set to put me there even before I knew that's where we were going. I mean, This is fascinating. So let's just keep going. But from the first notes, the music told me this is where we're going. It's partly the mutedness of it. It's partly the stylistic elements that kind of evoke that part of the world, that part of the country, and not only communicate it through kind of stylistic techniques that perhaps became anchored in that place, but also texturally and sonically, it captures this complex, steamy, sultry, humid, heavy atmosphere, which is a little bit wild at the same time. It's not really tamed, shall I say. That's why it kind of puts me back in time in a little bit as well. Who was Forrest Gump's friend that came from the fishing family? I can't recall his name right now. But that's the sort of scene, environment, setting that this music was sending me towards. As I said, I feel more the swampiness of it, the forest and the greenery and the humidity, and not quite so much the sandiness and the palm trees and moving towards the sea or the Gulf of Mexico here. But still, it was sending me that direction.
And highway hand-me-downs, and I wound up fixing dinner for them in Boston Gin. I well up with affection, thinking back down the roads till then. The nets were
like that
overflowing
bass down there.
in the Gulf of Mexico. They were overflowing in the refuge.
I like the way she pulls it down there.
Of the roads.
I love the textural quality of this music. I love the layers.
There was
Tonally.
along the ditch.
Tonally, articulation-wise, and instrumentally, we have short, stopped notes. We have muted, plucked notes. We have this sort of bassoon-like bass. We have an even deeper bass down there. We have brighter, plucked guitar. We have all these different layers and textures and lengths and everything from bright to warm to kind of shall I say a sort of nasally grumpiness in the bass, and all of this makes it so texturally rich, thick, lush, multidimensional. And that is what is kind of twining around and wrapping around and embedding her voice within it.
There was spring along the ditch.
You notice how her
There were good
voice
times in the
really does
cities.
become woven through it.
Radiant happiness. It was all so light and easy till I started analyzing, and I brought on my old ways. A thunderhead, a judgment
Oh, you hear that? Is that the thunderhead of judgment gathering?
It made most people nervous. They just didn't want to know what I was seeing in the refuge of the roads.
Is that melody down in the bass again? Way down there. It's very orchestral. That's what I would say. But without sounding like your standard orchestra.
I pulled off into the forest.
I would say, okay, if I say orchestral, that puts the wrong image. I would say it's like the orchestra of the outdoors. When you step outside and you hear so many sounds surrounding you, and this has to be in the southern part of the United States. It's the only place I know where you have this kind of wild orchestra, nature's orchestra, with frogs and crickets and cicadas and grasshoppers and all manner of singing creatures, birds, and then you hear the wind in brushing through the leaves occasionally, or the rain dripping on the leaves, and you feel the thickness of the air, and it's more than just the sounds, it's the feel as well. It's the scent, it's what you breathe, it's all of this. And this is, I think, why I'm so enthusiastic about the instrumental part of this piece of music. Okay, I'm enjoying her voice. It's Joni Mitchell, and her poetry. It's fabulous. It's Joni Mitchell. But in this particular song, I am just excited by how colorful, and more than colorful, vivid and alive and rich and true the instrumental part of the music conveys and builds such an experience. It's an experience I recognize because I have lived in this part of the world. I have spent time. I have experienced it, and this is probably the closest I could get to saying, oh, you want a piece of music that sounds like it feels to be here? Try this. Goes along with summertime, right?
Crickets clicking in the ferns.
She even names the crickets.
Like a wheel of fortune, I heard my fate turn, 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 and I went running down a white sand road. I was running like a white-ass deer, running to lose the blues to the innocence in the earth. The clouds of Michelangelo.
Bringing Michelangelo into it.
And sun gold shine on your witness in the refuge of the roads.
What an idea to bring into this, but it captures the grandness of it, the intensity of it.
In a highway service station, over the month of June, was a photograph of the earth taken coming back from the moon. And you couldn't see a city on that marbled bowling ball, or a forest, or a highway, or me here least of all. You couldn't see these cold water rests.
So, Another thing that stands out to me in these lyrics is how much ground is covered. How many details are expressed and brought into the picture. Everything from really ordinary stuff, like I wound up fixing dinner for them and Boston Jim. That's so ordinary. And then the way it starts, I met a friend of spirit, he drank and womanized. What a poetic way of saying what this person was like. And I sat before his sanity. That suddenly adds a whole new dimension to what is being expressed here. If he embodies sanity, I was holding back from crying. He saw my complications and he mirrored me back, simplified. And we laughed how our perfection would always be denied. There's so much humanity expressed in this, but not vaguely, not painting with broad strokes. It's in rich, intense, saturated detail. More than humanity, there's also the context, which, of course, I was talking about the music and the placement of it and how it just, it conjures and creates a whole world of experience and associations and imagery and feelings. But lyrically, too, there was spring along the ditches. There were good times in the cities. Oh, radiant happiness. It was all so light and easy. And then she starts bringing in the darkness, which the music perfectly reflected with that bass, till I started analyzing, and I brought in on my old ways a thunderhead of judgment was gathering in my gaze. A thunderhead of judgment. And we hear it, bomb, and we think of it as something happening within her, in her mind and her heart, and how she is developing within herself. But then as we continue, she shifts it again to the external, to the natural world. Crickets clicking on the ferns like a wheel of fortune. I went running down the white sand road, running to lose the blues, to the innocence in here. These are the clouds of Michelangelo, muscular with gods and sun gold. Wait a minute. I know those kinds of clouds in the sky. I've seen them. Those are the thunder clouds of summer, right? And so that throws us back to what she said earlier, this thunderhead of judgment. And suddenly we're again seeing and experiencing the external world of nature that we know and are familiar with as being an expression of the inner world that she is trying to communicate. How complicated and how much turmoil and the fear and the richness of it, and which again throws us back to earlier when he said, when he saw my complications and he mirrored me back, simplified. And it's so rich poetically, and not just poetically, but the ideas being expressed here. It's incredible. And all of that, along with the music, it's really a fabulous piece of music. I feel like this is one that it's hard for me to say it's a great song, because it's more than a song. Yes, it's a song, but it's more than a song.
And you couldn't see the city on that marble bowling ball.
And then this idea that comes.
Or a highway, or me here least of all.
Moving from the muscular gods and clouds of Michelangelo to suddenly a highway service station again. And then in that highway service station, again, the detail. It was in a highway service station. I saw a picture. Not just any picture. It was a photograph of the Earth taken coming back from the moon. And all that captures of the era, of the wonder, of the discoveries, of the progress of science and technology. And you couldn't see a city on that marbled bowling ball. What an expression. Or a forest or a highway. Or me here, least of all. It's putting me in my place again. It's finding the refuge of invisibility, of being so small that all of this really isn't so important, and maybe I don't need to be so obsessed about it.
On that marbled bowling ball, or a forest or a highway, or me here least of all. You couldn't see these cold water restrooms.
You couldn't see these restrooms, which is where I saw the picture in the first place.
Westbound and rolling, taking refuge.
Oh my God. I like that little drum roll there. Then you hear the bass singing again. Of course, it had to end on a low bass note. That's the only way a piece like this could end, isn't it? I guess I would say that it is an incredible study in perspective and scale. We have everything from a cold water restroom with a picture on it, to the idea of the wonder of space and how all of this that we're living and feeling and experiencing and that weighs on us and that influences us and shapes us in our life, which is so big and so important and so intense and so saturated, all of this from out there, you can't even see it. You can't even see anything far bigger than it. A city. This idea of scale and perspective, she handles so incredibly well, so beautifully, so intensely, and she ends without preaching to us or even telling us what it means. But in the end, it makes me step back and feel like it's time for me to step back and see myself from a different perspective. Take a moment, pause. See really what it is from outer space. And it puts us in our place. It solves a lot of our problems. Or, in a way, just as I said at the beginning, it sees our complications and mirrors us back, simplified. But more than that, it shows us, it teaches us humility. It doesn't teach us that we don't matter, because we do matter. And this song, this poetry, is is intensely emphatic that all of these things and all of us does matter. But at the same time, while we matter, we also occupy a very small corner of this vast universe. And that corner matters so much, but we should be humble about it. I mean, there's so much more to unpack in this. I feel like this is the kind of music and poetry and not just, I mean, okay, if you take the music on its own, maybe not, but when you marry the two, it becomes a song worthy of long study and exploration and reflection. And so yet another Joni Mitchell piece of music that gets me excited and ambitious and reflective and simply happy to have heard it. And I'm sure I'll be listening to it again. I'll see you soon.